On this episode, what is, what isn't, and you can't have what is not become is because that's what the not does.
This real estate stuff is not easy, so send me your questions and I will answer them. This is the Ask Jason Show.
Hello everybody, my name is Jason Piercey. This is episode 120, or as Joe put it, almost a quarter away through another 100 episodes. Because that's as easy as saying 120 of the Ask Jason Show. Okay, today I want to talk about selling pieces of land and stuff that people might not realize are mandatory, kind of, to put a deal together, and might be frustrating if you are the seller of the land, but it's just a thing you need to get your head around and aligned. So let's just imagine that you're selling a car in our province. In order to purchase a car, make it yours, insure it, and be able to drive it, you have to register that vehicle in your name. In order to register that vehicle in your name, you need to have a little slip that says it passes a motor vehicle inspection, which means it's safe for the road. Nobody really has a problem with this. Everybody understands it just the way that it is. The car needs to be able to be driven in order to serve its purpose as a motor vehicle. So we do a motor vehicle inspection. Well, similarly, in order for it to make sense for anybody to purchase a building lot, not just a vacant piece of land, but say like you're in a subdivision and you're like going down Main Street and you turn on no, you wouldn't have. Actually, this is an interesting little tidbit. To me, probably not to any of you. Do you know what the most common street name in the world is? Anybody? Anybody? Any guesses? 2nd Street. Because about half of the first streets get renamed to Main. True story. I made up the about half part, but like the rest of it is true. The most common street, I shouldn't say in the world, the most common street name in like probably North America. Or maybe it's just like Mount Pearl. I don't know. But anyway, that's real. And it makes sense, right? It's intuitive. Because you would name First Street to like Main Street or like Director Joe Avenue spelled with a K. And that's a reference to a previous thing. Okay. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so similarly, Joe's busting a gut. And we also have our dear friend Amanda Ryan from eXp Realty is here today. And now Joe is checking the time to see when he has to leave. Because you have to leave in... ...22 minutes. Is that right? So anyway, Amanda, our dear friend, who's also a photographer, is here with us today. So hi, Amanda. And she's all right. As a photographer. She's actually better as a photographer than she is a friend. Well, I see more of your pictures than I do of you. So that means your photography plays a bigger role in my life than your friendship. That's devastating. I'm just kidding. Amanda's a lovely person. Anyway, you need an inspection on a car to be able to drive it. You kind of need proof that the building lot you want to buy can be used for its intended purpose. You're not going to buy a car without knowing whether or not you can legally drive it. You're not going to buy a building lot without knowing whether or not you can legally build on it. So, oftentimes, if you write an offer, you submit an agreement of purchase and sale to purchase a building lot, whether it's off of a developer, a builder, some random person, an estate sale, could be anything at all. Usually, a condition of that agreement of purchase and sale is going to be that selling that building lot is going to be subject to the purchaser being able to acquire permits from any and all necessary governing bodies to be able to erect a dwelling of their choice on that piece of land. Because otherwise, whatever valuation you have put together, are you guys laughing about the fact that I said erect? You are, aren't you? Oh my God, you're worse than me on live national television. The younger generation who are in their first or second time voting around for federal election, they're thinking like, for federal erection. Anyway, so... now I lost my train of thought. I'm never doing this with Amanda here again because you guys are laughing and giggling like school children. Are you passing notes? Is this something you'd like to share with the class? Anybody? No? Anyway, a condition of that deal would be that you need permits to build a house of your choice. from any and all necessary governing bodies. So that might be, depending on where it is, maybe it's the town of Paradise or Conception Bay South or St. John's, or maybe it's out in Torbay. And maybe you also need to get government services to approve an engineered septic design. Or maybe you need to drill test wells to make sure that the water source is going to be clean and you can get a permit to occupy a dwelling there because you can get potable water. Why do they call it potable and not potable?
Because you pot it.
I mean, you don't. If anything, you put it in a pot. You don't pot it. Anyway, so if you're ever selling a piece of land and somebody writes you an offer that says they want to buy it, but they need to make sure that they can get permits to build on it, just accept that as something that's like just a thing. That's just a thing. It's just a thing. It's the same thing as somebody saying, yeah, I'll buy your car, but I want to get it inspected. Of course, I understand. I'll buy your land, but I want to make sure I can get permits. Yes, of course, obviously. Because say you got a building lot that's $105,000. That's only worth $105,000 if I can build a house on it. If I can't build a house on it, it's not worth $105,000 anymore. That's very, very simple. It's like, we're in Director Joe's house right now. Joe, what's this house worth? 3? You think it's only 3? I just figure we're higher than that. Okay, say his house is worth $350,000. That's only because he's allowed to live in it. If suddenly the city of Mount Pearl goes to 20, it's not even 27, is it? What is it? 72, 52. No, it's not. It is. I know that it's the yellow one on the corner when you first go in Michener. I know that. It's the one right when I know that much. It is yellow, right? No, it's like what color? Where am I? Anyway, if the city comes in and tells them, okay, we are revoking your occupancy permit, nobody's allowed to live in this house anymore. This house is condemned. It is no longer worth $350,000, right? You want to sell a car, you got your car up for $12,500 and it's going to cost $8,000 to get it to pass the motor vehicle inspection. Do you think it's still worth $12,500? Did I prove my point? I proved my point, right? If you're selling a piece of land and somebody wants to buy it and it's subject to permits, just say yes. Because that just is. That just is, okay? Because in life, there are things, right? And all of the things are. And then sometimes people want things that are to be not. But if they're not, then they can't be. So you can't simultaneously be a thing and also be not, because not isn't is. And I don't know how more clearly I can state that. Thank you for watching episode 120 of the Ask Jason Show. We'll see you next time.
The Ask Jason Show exists so that you can get good real estate related information from a resource that you can trust. Now, speaking of resources you can trust, here's a couple I would trust to work with my mom. Because good enough for mom, I mean, good enough for you.
No, I accidentally kicked this, so I think it's okay now.